Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. These days, technology and businesses have gone through a metamorphosis that has led to the organizations in dire need of certified project managers. These individuals are qualified to handle the requirements of ongoing projects, whether they are related to software development or physical boundaries or any other industry. Project management is not just related to software project management. That is just one part of the projects in the world that we handle using the project management. The nature of the certification in turn determines how the skills of a certified IT project manager. Now, as we are talking on EduReka, we'll be focusing mostly on IT project managers and how they can help, how they can be applied to benefit from. And that's why today we are going to discuss the top 10 project management certifications that you can consider in the year 2021. Hello, I'm Rishikesh, your webinar host for the day. Before we look at the agenda, as we are going to talk about the project management certifications, let us understand what is project management basically. Okay, and what significance it might have in your careers. If you go by the PMI, that is Project Management Institute, which is the global authority for such certifications. The definition that they give is a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result. So you will not have the projects perpetually running for years altogether. You'll be working on a project and then maybe delivering the result of that project as a deliverable to the customer. Then you might be supporting that application. That's a different thing, right? But then project wherein you have your teams working, you're managing them, this will be having for a limited period of time. And that's why we call it as a temporary endeavor. So a project is a temporary in that it has a defined beginning and end time, and therefore defined scope and resources, right? The scope means in terms of what needs to be delivered to the client, or resources means what kind of budget you have available, what kind of skill sets and what kind of people, for how much time they have available to you. All of these are your resources. A project is unique in that it is not a routine operation. Every project is different. Though it is an IT project, but then it might be a different deliverable altogether. The output of that project might be different. So every project is unique, but a specific set of operation designed to accomplish a single goal. Correct? No matter how different the project is, the PMI or the Project Management Institute has given us some guidelines, some processes that we need to follow. So those processes are going to be standardized. The framework is going to be standardized, following which, adhering to which, every project will be completed successfully. Okay. So a project team often includes people who don't usually work, who don't usually work together, right? You won't have everybody sitting together in today's world, wherein you have the online things, work from home, different locations. So sometimes from different organization and across multiple geographies also, you will have these people working together on one singular goal, that is the deliverable of your project. The development of a software for an improved business process, the construction of a building or a bridge, the relief effort after a natural disaster, the expansion of sales into a new geographic market. All of these are what? These are all the examples of different projects. These are all projects at the core of it. And all must be expertly managed to deliver the on time, on budget results, learning and integrating that organization's need, right? So project management then is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. This is what I'm reading from the PMI site. Okay, this is the definition, a standard. You can call it as a dictionary definition from the Project Management Institute. Correct. So that gives us what project management is, what projects are, and how you should be looking at those. These are nothing but the skills, tools, processes, and techniques that provide you the guidelines, the framework, adhering to which you can manage your project and complete it. Now, it has always been practiced informally, but began to emerge as a distinct profession or a career in the mid 20th century, because there were certain things happened during those times which forced the industries, not only IT industry but then the industries, to look at the project management as a career. Earlier it was done informally. And so when you have this as a profession, then you have guidelines, you have certifications, you have frameworks that every professional, project management professional, has to follow. And that's why we had the PMI and all of those things, and these certifications is a result of all of that. And then the project managers are organized, passionate, and goal-oriented, who understand that what project what projects have in common and their strategic role in how organizations succeed, learn, and change. Okay, so the project managers are change agents. You can also call them as change agents. They make project goals their own and use their skills and expertise to inspire a sense of shared purpose within the project team. Now you have so many members in your project team, but then you'll have only generally one project manager. So this project manager need to have some inherent qualities, the leadership qualities, and he should also inspire his team, and then walk through the ups and downs of the project with the team and help the team achieve the success in the project, right? So the project manager, and that's how the project management or project manager is a very important role in any project, be it any domain. It's a very important role in any project. So now let's have a look at the agenda. As you can see in this agenda, we are going to talk about 10 different project management certifications that are recognized globally, depending on your prerequisites, depending on your exposure in the industry, your work experiences, the time that you have, the budget that you have at your disposal, you can go for these. So I'm going to go in, in the reverse order. That is, we will take the 10th project management course first, and then we will go climbing up the chart. Okay. Before we get to this, let's have a look at why are project management certifications important. We understood what is project management, what is a project manager, and why is he important. But why do we need these kind of personals to have these project management certifications? Why are the certifications so important? Can't we just get good people, good leadership quality people, maybe who can inspire your teams as project managers? Is that enough? Let's have a look at why do we require project management certifications. The average certified project manager has undergone various rigorous project development units. We call them as PDUs, with each one being a training module in its own nature. These project management certifications or these institutes like PMI make these project managers go through various trainings to keep their project management certification valid. These certifications are valid for certain period. We will see as we go through all of these certifications. So while they are keeping their certifications valid after the expiry date, they have to keep on updating themselves. So through these certifications, through these processes, all of these professionals are continuously updating themselves, their skills, their knowledge, their whatever qualities they have, inherent qualities, it is not outdated at any point in time, right? And that's why these certifications are very important. As a result of these certifications, the project manager is eventually capable of handling a wide variety of challenges and tasks to help increase the flow and benefits of the business. He's continuously learning things, and that's what we learn, and that's what we require apart from his inherent leadership and those kind of qualities. So IT project management certifications such as Agile, Scrum, PMP, it's a systematic and enhanced capabilities. It gives you systematic and enhanced capabilities to the managers who can then manage the entire workforce and their activities responsible for achieving a milestone. Now, in my career, I have managed many projects, at various levels, in various departments, in various geographies. So, no matter where you're working, which team you're working, what geography you're working, every team has three kinds of people: the people who are beginners to the project, the people who have spent some time in the project or with those people, and the people who need to change the project, who need to go out of the project. So depending on their stages in the projects or in the companies, every individual has a different level of inspiration or has a different level of interest involvement in those projects. But then despite of that, irrespective of that rather, this project manager should be able to identify such people, and he should inspire them, keep the motto going, keep the energy levels up in the project. Okay. So now, having learned about all of these things, now let's deep dive into some of the project management certifications that you see on the screen. And we need to, know about these certifications. Having said that, we also encourage you guys to carry out your own research to weigh out the pros and cons of these certifications. Now, even though while we are discussing all of these certifications, some of them you might find some of them very easy to do, less time consuming, less money, less cost for certification. But then that should not be your criteria in selecting these certifications. It should always be tied back to what you're doing currently and how it can help you enhance your career and help your organization to leverage your skill sets and the kind of additional skills that you're going to get once you're through these certifications. Okay, so let me just read out these certification names first of all to you all. So we'll be discussing the professional in project management, PPM, master project manager, MPM, associate and project manager, APM, certified project manager, IAPM, that is CPM, IAPM, agile certified practitioner, ACP, Prince 2, Comp TIA Project Plus, Certified Scrum Master, CSM. Now, the last three certifications that we are going to talk, starting from CSM, you might have heard about them a lot because these are very popular. Apart from the seven others, these are very popular ones. So CSM, the Certified Scrum Master, because whole IT industry at least is moving towards agile, right? So SCM is definitely a very important role in that. Certified Associate in Project Management, CAPM. And then finally, we have the most favorite or most valued certification in project management, that is PMP. Okay, this is a certification given by your PMI, Project Management Institute. Okay, so let's begin with the Professional in Project Management, PPM. That is the number 10 certification on our list. The Professional in Project Management, PPM certification uh, is a trademark of GAQM, Global Association of Quality Management. Now, all of these certifications are not necessarily from PMI. There are various associations where there are various authorities across the globe who have designed these certifications, keeping in mind the goal, that is creating successful project managers or effective project managers. So this one is from the GAQM. It comprises project management modules that include how to plan, execute, control, and complete projects on time and budget. Although it is not a challenging to get this certification, this is relatively easier certifications. Companies prefer hiring experienced professionals as compared to those who have just completed their courses. So even though this might be considered as an entry level certification, project manager, if you want to just get a knack of how things work and how should you start on this journey of project management certifications, then you can go for this. This is a relatively very easy one to crack. But then companies will always prefer somebody who has these kind of certifications rather than somebody who just who's just saying that I'm confident or whatever. So, regardless, professional in project management, PPM, is treated as a mid-level project management certification course where individuals are taught various project management skills. So, as a certified PPM professional, if you are looking to step into the job market, a lot of business will expect you to have knowledge, skill concerning resource allocation, quality deliverance and maintenance at minimal risk, effective communication, and tenacity to bring change in the company. Of course, no matter what certifications you have, the communication is very important. Being a leader, you need to communicate with your stakeholders, with your teams. So communication is definitely a base of everything. The professional in project management certification is lined up with risk and crisis management training. So the curriculum of this particular certification course, you will find that is centered around the risk and crisis management. Mostly it is dealing with those kind of topics. Now, as I said, this is a mid-level and relatively easier certification. PPM certification examination does not require to have a formal college degree. You have e-courses. Okay, you can complete their e-course. Now you can find about this e-course from the PPM website, official website, and you will find the duration of this courses, the cost of this e-course, everything. Now, doing the e-course doesn't make you PPM. You have to still get the certification, but then as a requirement, you will need to complete their e-course. Okay. Now, this this e-course is about 45 to 50 hours. You can find the details of that, as I said, on the official site of that. There will be some cost associated with the e-course as also. Now, as far as the PPM certification is concerned, it has 150 questions to be completed in 120 minutes, and it will cost you in the range of around 100 to 340 US dollars. Now, why am I giving this range is because these certification authorities, like I can tell you about the PMI. If you are a member of PMI, then the certification cost is less. When we will talk about the PMP certification, I will talk about this PMI membership and the membership fees and how it benefits you and how it reduces the cost of examination and re-examination while you're appearing for the certification. So this certification is valid for 5 years. The candidate needs to either retake the exam or can complete the e-course of PPM to accrue the number of continuing education units. We call it as CEUs or PDUs to renew the certificate. Now, the project management certificate, most of them, these certifications will need you to renew your certificate after a set number of years. Every certification has a different number of years of validity. After this validity expires, you have to retake the exam, or maybe you have to earn these kind of CEUs or PDUs, which allow you to retain your validity of your certification. If you do not renew your certification, then you will be inactive certified professional. You will have the certification, but you will be inactive. Your certification, maybe your knowledge on those project management aspects which are prescribed by that particular certification curriculum are not up to date. They are obsolete probably, and then it might affect your hireability by the organizations. So that was PPM. The next one on the chart is Master Project Manager. Number 9 is MPM. The MPM course has been designed to include presentations, practical exercises, and highly interactive group sessions intended for professionals like program managers, project managers, executive directors, PMO managers, and directors, etc. The PMP is primarily focused on project managers, but in addition, it also supports those professionals in the technical and business management roles as well. Okay, so MPM is one certification that helps you earn additional points for IT professionals who are within the project management domain of their companies. So mostly it will be again related to your IT management. Okay, so it provides a simple but effective training environment for professionals with a technical background by defining and associating the teachings of management with engineering. Okay, so there are certain prerequisites for this particular certification. So minimum 3 years of training and project management experience make applicants with relevant job experience eligible for this certification. So this is not for freshers or something like that. You need to at least have minimum 3 years of experience of managing the projects. So generally, when we say a fresher joins the industry, he works for minimum 3 years, and then he gets to know about what is happening on the project, and he is actually eligible for even thinking about these kind of certifications. So this particular certification has this eligibility criteria that you need to have 3 years of experience. And then of course the training is also required. You can go to the MPM website and understand what are the trainings required for you to be able to appear for the certification exam. The exam consists of 20 questions, which are to be completed in 55 minutes, and it will cost you something around $100 to $340 USD. This certification is valid for 5 years, and as I mentioned, in case of earlier certifications, you need to renew it once the validity expires. The next one on the chart, number 8, is Associate in Project Management, APM. Let's understand what APM is. Now, Associate in Project Management, APM certificate, is an entry-level certification again in the field of project management. It is an important globally recognized credential in the field of project management that ensures that the candidate has the required knowledge in the field confining to the entry level of project management. So this certification is again your entry level project management certification in the world of project management. I'll finish this slide and I'll come to the question and queries. This certification examination does not require you to have any formal college degree, but an e-course completion is enough to appear for this exam. As we saw in the very first certification PPM that we saw, you have for few of these certifications, you do not have to attend any certified training from any certified coach or anything. You can go to the websites of these certifications. They have certain e-commerce e-courses. They will cost you some few dollars, and then you can complete those e-courses. That gives you a basic foundation of what you're going to learn, what you're going to do, and what kind of questions you can expect in the certification exam. So once you do that, that is the prerequisite to appear for the certification for this. And then you have in the certification, you have 50 questions to be completed in 60 minutes. 70% is the passing criteria for the certification, and the cost is around $200, and the certificate validity is 2 years for this one. Okay, so that was your number 8 certification. These are very popular certification, irrespective of their level or competencies required. Which stream student can give exam? Which stream student can give exam? Yeah, so I'm not seeing your name. It is appearing as webinar. As I mentioned right in the beginning, project management is not confined to only IT industry. Okay, whether it's an IT project, whether it's some construction, whether it is some rehabilitation activities after a natural calamity, anything, even making a tea is a project, can be considered. As we saw the definition from PMI, the project is a temporary endeavor with fixed start date, end date, and a fixed set of results, right? So it can be anything. When you have any project of any domain, so any people or student from any stream can aspire to become a project manager, right? Now we are talking at Edureka. Edureka is mostly IT training organization, online IT training organization. So we are focusing more on IT projects. But then, barring few projects, project management certifications, any stream can have projects, and people coming from any streams can be project managers on those projects. Let's move on to the number 7 certification. Number 7 on this list, we have Certified Project Manager, CPM, IAPM. CPM is the authority and IAPM is the certification from CPM. So International Association of Project Managers, IAPM, is a project management certification for individuals who have basic project management knowledge. Again, this can be considered as an entry level or mid level. It was introduced over now there's a history behind the certification. As I said, project management was practiced informally in the past, but then some events happened, in the mid of 20th century or in the recent years, that forced the industries to streamline this, the education in the project management. They wanted to have some kind of frameworks. So The history behind this is it was introduced over 2 decades ago when September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks rocked the foundation of the US government. The presiding body at that time introduced the certified project management course because of the unforeseen nature of the disaster that they saw in the US through these strikes on the WTC. So besides buildings and any other physical devastations, the attack also sent jolts through the IT infrastructure that we had at that time. So businesses were not equipped to handle such pressure and needed certified project managers to benchmark their skills through hands-on experiences. And many government agencies like FBI also, when these kind of things happen, people start doing introspection. What went wrong? How could they get into US and attack their towers using their own aeroplanes? There was some, I mean, even though things were going on, they were very haphazard. And that's why they started thinking about these kind of courses, these kind of certifications. They wanted people to adhere to certain processes. So CPM, IAPM are relatively easier to complete. Okay, the basic premise here was to make people aware of the project management basic concepts. There are no prerequisites to sit for this particular certification for the exam, other than proof of taking 3 days of training course. Okay, here even though it is mentioned that no prerequisite, but then when we say no prerequisite, that means you don't have to really go and attend some classroom trainings. Your e-commerce e-courses on these sites are good enough for you to make you available for these kind of certification. The exam comprises of 120 questions to be completed in 80 minutes. This certification will cost you around 735 US dollars, and the certification has lifetime validity. That's different thing here, right? All of the certification that you'll see in this particular webinar, they have certain validity period, but then this particular certification is valid for lifetime. So you do it once and you are good to go. But then, as I mentioned earlier, this is an entry level, which just gives you the premise of what project management is. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The number 6 is Agile Certified Professional Practitioners, ACP. Everything is moving towards Agile framework. Even the software project management is moving towards Agile framework. Earlier, we used to use waterfall, and now it is Agile, in which it gives you more flexibility. You can do things in lesser resources, in lesser time, with lesser cost and lesser people. But then, as the framework is different, you need to educate people. You need to have people certified and who know these processes. And that's why we have the Agile Certified Practitioner, ACP certification. Agile Certified Practitioner perceives the candidate's expertise in utilizing agile practices in project management while showcasing their increased professional adaptability through agile tools and techniques. Now we have Scrum, we have Kaizen, those kind of things, right? Kanban, and all of those different agile tools and techniques. So this certification will make you aware of all of those things. The ACP project management certification is administered by PMI, which is Project Management Institute. Now there are so many certifications which are designed by PMI, and the PMI is an authority to give you these kind of certification. So ACP is one such certification provided by PMI. This certification strictly follows agile mindset. Okay, agile is not a process, but it's a mindset. You have to think in those lines, right? So mostly companies that believe in identifying core problems and then doing more in less capacity, less resources, they are shifting towards agile. And nowadays, in any project, any IT project at least, if you see, they have agile methodologies applied. So you require these kind of professionals over there. The PMI instructors give a brief walkthrough of the agile philosophy through a group of ground up approach. So you have to attend some trainings for this. The certification further dwells into practical hands-on strategy where different training modules are conducted to further equip the individuals with agile frameworks. So as I said, this is a change in the mindset of the people, right? So you have your agile coaches and those kind of instructor which are certified by PMI itself, and then only you can take trainings from them and then appear for these certifications. So they make you aware of the agile processes or the mindset. ACP is scaled as an advanced tier certification within the Agile Project Management certification lineup. So this is not a basic one, this is an advanced one. So there are certain prerequisites. You require 21 contact hours in agile practices. What do you mean by contact hours? It means you have to have certain work experience of working in these kind of teams. Contact hours, number of hours of experience with these teams. And then the exam consists of 120 questions to be completed in 180 minutes. It will cost you around 455 to 495 dollars US dollars. Again, I have specified the ranges here because the cost of the certification depends on whether you are a PMI member or not. PMI member fees is $129. You pay it once, you become the member of that, and then you get various goodies with that membership. You get a lot of training material, you get a lot of study material for free from that from their websites. And then also every time you give this exam or retake this exam or reappear for this exam, there are certain discounts. So it is worth becoming a PMI member. I will always recommend that you become a PMI member if you're thinking about these project management certifications seriously. And then this validity of this certification is 3 years. After that, you have to either renew it or retake the exam. Okay. Yes. Okay. Pratik, do we need to have a coding experience as well before going for PMP Agile Scrum certification training? Pratik, not necessarily, but then as you can see, they have certain prerequisites. So you need to be a part of the teams. You might be working as a team member of that team, or you might be working maybe as a project manager, maybe as a technical delivery manager or a project manager or something of that sort, that scope. So for being a manager, you don't require to have any coding experience. The only thing counts here is being a manager. You have to be a senior to the team, right? So you need to have certain years of experience, and in that years of experience also, if you have done some managerial activities, that gives you added advantage. That makes you more eligible. And then irrespective of that, you have to attend trainings, and that's why most of these certifications are not for freshers. They are for people who have spent some time in the industry, in the projects. By contact hours, is it that you need to take course for 21 hours? No, Sandeep. Uh, Contact hours means you need to be in contact with the team. You need to be working as part of that team, and you need to have that kind of role, relevant role, probably a project manager role. You need to have done some project management activities in that project. That's what it means. Okay. So when you are given these certifications, they actually do an audit. When you do there are like different stages of prerequisites, right? So you need to first of all have the for different certifications there are different prerequisites. You need to have certain years of experience. Within that experience, you need to have certain exposure to certain type of activities like project management, resource management, the cost management, those kind of things. And then when you have these eligibility criteria satisfied, then you can go ahead and do their trainings. Okay, so that contact hours is working on the project, then the training hours, which need to be done by the certified practitioners, certified agile coaches or scrum masters and all those things. You get trainings from them, and then after those trainings you can apply to the PMI that I want to give the certification. Then PMI does the audit of your application. It You need to provide references from your past organizations wherein you're mentioning that I have done these many hours of work. So you have to really get some kind of reference, some kind of confirmation from those organizations that you have already actually done that work, and then they give you the approval. Within that approval period, within 1 hour of that 1 year of approval from PMI, you have to take up these exams, and then you are certified for maybe 2 years, 3 years validity. and then you have to retake these exams. So you need to keep yourself updated all the time. You cannot let your certificate be obsolete. And that's why we have a concept of PDUs and SEUs in these certifications. Jana Rajani Lingam, it will be helpful if you can share what documents to verify, what documents to verify the experience. See, Jana, I won't be able to provide you those documents because those will be available on the PMI site. You can visit the PMI site and have a look at those. Generally, when you apply to PMI for this certification, they will be sending you back these certificates. They will ask you for the documents. It depends on what kind of work experience have you mentioned on your application form, and accordingly, they will be sending certain forms and certain documents to you. But then those will be generally simple letters from your organizations confirming to what you have said in the application, right? When you change jobs, when you're giving reference letters to those companies, or when you're talking about certain experience, what do those companies require? They require some kind of validation of that, right? That you have mentioned in the application or in your CV. So that's what it is. How to get PDUs? Yeah. So Bachi Babu, PDUs are your professional development units, right? So when you give these certifications, you have to keep attending trainings, right? So that is one way of getting PDUs. You get certain numbers of PDUs, maybe 30 or 31 PDUs for number of hours that you spend on training yourself from certified trainers and all. So you have to keep on doing that activity continuously to maintain your PDUs. And then the second mode is you train people. Okay, that is, you call it as giving back to the society. So what you have learned, you will again give it back to the community of people who want to become project managers or something like that. So you give it back. So whenever you give these kind of trainings to other people, you earn certain PDUs. So that way you can keep doing these things. So throughout the years, there are certain criteria like 300 PDUs or something, 65 or 67 PDUs you need to acquire, which will help you to keep your certificates active. Okay. Attending webinars is one way to get the PDUs, is it? Yes, Sandeep, absolutely correct. Attending webinars, but then those should be from the certified trainers. You cannot just go to any webinar or any certification. Edureka is an authorized training partner, actually, by the way. So you can always consider Edureka as a certified trainer. So when you are enrolling with Edureka for PMP certification trainings or something like that, those are considered as valid PDUs that you spend with Edureka. So yeah, those kind of things you can always use to get your PDUs. It is one way to get PDUs. Yes, Sandeep, you're absolutely correct. Okay, so let's move on with the next certification in the line that we have. The next one is Prince2. Now you must have heard about this certification very often. This is a very popular certification. Prince2 is an advanced tier certificate in the project management certification chain. Okay, so Prince2 provides a standardized path that clearly depicts the role and responsibilities that are to be performed by each team member who is a part of managing the project. Okay, so this certification really makes you aware of all those frameworks. Prince2 certified engineers are highly reputed, or managers, I can say, are highly reputed in their concerned fields. Organization expect a lot from these individuals because the certification has that kind of a standard. Since they are all equipped with knowledge of validating employees, core project management skills, concepts about IT project management lifecycle, and yes, the business development tools as well. So the curriculum of Prince2, if you see on the Prince2 site, you will realize that they have more focus on all of these aspects that I just mentioned. There is no prerequisites for Prince2. That's very surprising because this is considered a very highly regarded certification, but you can give this certification if you have certain minimum 3 years of experience. So that's the only prerequisite you can say. But then as far as the the contact hours or something like that, you have to work on certain projects. Nothing of that criteria is there. So anybody with minimum 3 years of experience can attend the Prince2 certification. There is no training requirement also. It has 75 questions to be answered in 60 minutes. The cost will vary as per the region. Okay, now Prince2 is mostly done in the European region. So based on the regions, basically, you will have the cost different. Okay, so you will have to check it. And these costs keep on changing, right? So you'll have to keep check with the Prince2 site and get the updated information on that. I have not included here, as I said, it keeps changing for this particular certification. The validity of the certificate that you get is 3 to 5 years. Again, it is dependent on the region. So this particular certification is different in this aspect that the cost validity changes as per the region. Mostly in the European regions, this certification is very highly regarded. The next one on the chart here is your CompTIA Project Plus certification. Now, this is not very famous certification, but then believe me, this is a very well-renowned and very well-respected certification in the computing industry, and that's why it is CompTIA Project Plus. Does Prince2 have foundation and practitioner? Please, can you explain? So, this is yet another certification within the realm of project management certifications. However, its requirements are slightly less stringent. It is mildly correlates to the computing industry. It is mainly focused on the computing industry. It provides business professionals with both the inside and the outside of information technology. This one mostly has to deal with aggregating feedback from respondents, government representatives, and research institutes. So this has a very different set of kind of expectations from you when you are a CompTIA Project Plus certified project manager. Okay, so later on, qualified professional points the organization in the right direction to seek expert guidance who would be able to complete the project at hand. Okay, so this is mainly on the computation industry that you have. CompTIA Project Plus and other associated IT project management certifications are accredited to CompTIA CO. Okay, they are an institute like PMI. So this is not a PMI certification. You have a CompTIA CO as a different organization, global organization altogether. They are an institute like PMI and Scrum Alliance. For the Scrum certifications, you have the authority like Scrum Alliance and PMI, those kind of things. So you have the CompTIA CO for this one. The only difference is that the CompTIA CO is targeting a specific mindset of the IT business, IT industry. Okay, so let's talk about the prerequisites here. There are no requirements again to take this examination. You will need to crack 90 questions in 90 minutes, and for this certification, it will cost you around $329 US with the validity of 3 years. Here, I'm not giving the range in the cost because this is not a PMI certification. You do not have a concept of being a PMI member and then the cost getting reduced. Fixed cost to this 329. Whether you're a member or non-member, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's about your CompTIA Project Plus certification. So the third certification, these are now from this point onwards, I'll be talking about the three most popular certifications in India and globally also, but then India, you will be hearing more about them. So Certified Scrum Master is one such Scrum certification. Now there are two different types of certifications in Scrum itself. We're going to talk about the SCM, CSM, but we have the product owner certification also in Scrum that we are not going to talk here because mostly people go for certified Scrum Master. That's the popular one, and we are going to talk about the popular certifications out here. Okay, so CSM. The CSM certification is designed to provide student with a strong foundation in Scrum. As Carol had asked me, what is Scrum? Scrum is a agile methodology. When you run your project using agile techniques, agile methodology, Scrum is one such framework which allows you, to deliver projects with lesser resources, lesser time. It allows Scrum agile basically allows you to do more in less time with less resources. So it delivers able guides with people skills to form successful organization. Correct? We'll talk about this role also in a bit. So CSM certification is a qualification you need if you want to become a high-end certified Scrum Master. Okay, it's a critical leadership role that will help you and give you lots of career benefits, including increased recognition and credibility in the industry, IT industry. Scrum is not limited to IT industry, but we will be focusing more on IT industry project management. So Scrum Master is a servant leader kind of a role. What do you mean by servant leader? Scrum Master is not a project manager, though he is equipped with all the project manager knowledge, all the activities that a project manager do. But then in Scrum, the philosophy is different. As I mentioned, Scrum is a different mindset. Here you have this very important role, which is a Scrum Master. And the philosophy behind this role is he should be a guide to the team. He should not be ruling the team or being authoritative to the team. He is just providing his services, his abilities to guide the team to get over the impediments that the team might have, to streamline the activities of the team, and then guide the team to the successful completion of the project. So he is a servant leader type of a role. Okay, he does not have authority, but then he drives everything. The concept is straightforward. Agile practices are being adopted in project and product management across many industries nowadays, not just IT. And a Scrum Master is a vital leadership role within the agile development. Okay. The CSM qualification is a certification that gives professionals awareness of the methodologies and the values of Scrum, including team performance and accountability. The Scrum Master roles is dealing more with creating a sense of accountability in the team. Scrum teams are self-managed teams. Basically, there is no manager in Scrum. We have a Scrum Master, but then he is just overlooking the activities and guiding the team. The team is self-managed. Okay, so you require a mindset to run a project in the Scrum framework. Every team member is like accountable, and then you have the sprints and Scrum meetings and Scrum planning meetings and scratch boards and storyboards, those kind of things, artifacts you call them, and the ceremonies of Scrum, which you have to do regularly, which you have to keep doing regularly. And Scrum Master is in charge of all of those things. So it's a very important role. So if you want to get a Scrum Master CSM certification, searching online for suitable training providers is the best. Now, for getting the certification, there is a prerequisite, and that is you need to have a course completion which is delivered by a CST, that is Certified Scrum Trainer. Okay, and who certifies these trainers? The Scrum Alliance organization certifies these trainers only if they are certified by the Scrum Alliance, and if you take trainings from them, then it is considered as a valid training and it will be considered as a prerequisite. And apart from CST, you also have a CSC, that is your Certified Agile Coach. You need to have your trainings from these two certified training professionals only. Okay, and complete the course with them, which is prerequisite to take this certification. And then you will need to crack 50 questions in 60 minutes. CSM certification fees is $29. Now, why is this so? Because CSM or the Scrum Alliance is a no profit, no loss organization, correct? So the philosophy here is different. They are server leaders, and that's why they have the cost of the certification is also very less. But then you have certain validity, after which you have to again retake this exam or use PDUs or whatever you have through. But then PDU and that kind of concept is CCR, those kind of concept, continuous certification requirement, is all PMI concept. As Scrum Alliance is different, so you have to take this certification again, recertify yourself. That's the way of keeping your certificate valid when you are certified Scrum Master. So now let's talk about the number 2 on this chart, that is Certified Associate in Project Management, CAPM. Now, CAPM is an American professional certification program intended to demonstrate candidates' understanding of the fundamental terminologies and processes of effective project management. Okay, the Certified Associate in Project Management is also administered by PMI. So these top 2 certifications, the CAPM and PMP, are administered by Project Management Institute. Okay, so they have these various processes like CCR and PDUs, SEUs, and those kind of things. So it is a basic level certification that's lined up with plenty of learning and growth opportunities for beginners. So if you're planning to do PMP later on in your career, and before that, if you want to, test the waters, then maybe CAPM is a certification that you should be trying for. You can take up this certification if you have completed a minimum of 23 hours. So there is a prerequisite for this certification. If you have completed minimum 23 contact hours of project management education, right? So is it, even this is an entry level, but then this is an entry level to PMP, which is the certification in project management. So you need to have some kind of project management education experience of 23 contact hours at least. Okay. The exam has 150 questions to be completed in 90 minutes and will cost you between 225 to 300 US dollars. Again, this is in the range depending on whether you are a PMI member or not and what geography you're giving this certification from. This certification will be valid for 3 years, after which you have to either earn PDUs or reappear for the exam, recertify yourself. Okay, so now let's talk about the number one certification, that is the certification in the project management industry, which is your PMP certification, the Professional in Project Management certification. Now, those of you who are not managers or working in the IT industry or any other industry for that matter are probably aware of this certification. This is the certification, and this is, I think, is the most difficult certification to crack also. It has various prerequisites. It has a very stringent control by PMI, and also there are various requirements by you to keep the certification active. Let's discuss about them. So it is a globally acknowledged professional certification program in the project management facility that legalizes a professional's education, experience, skill, and competency required to lead and direct a project. Okay, so this gives you a legal authority to be a project manager, the ultimate legal authority to be a project manager. So project manager professional certification cycles around three constraints, right? Which is a core for any project, that is time, cost, and scope. You have a limited time for your project, you have a limited scope, you have a limited cost assigned for your project, and then there is a scope for your project. Within the limited time, with the limited cost, you have to manage your resources in such a way that you deliver the project with the desired scope in it. Correct? So it is a challenging course that constitutes various modules to assist the academia in identifying the weak spots within a project. So the PMP certified project manager is not only focused on managing the project, but then he also needs to identify the weak spots in your project and then maybe rectify them or work around them, right? So the final goal is successfully executing the project. Okay, so the project management professional certification is accredited with the Project Management Institute, that is PMI. They work constantly to introduce new changes within the course contents to keep it up to date and aligned with the rapidly changing requirements of the industry. And that's why they have this validity criteria. Most of the PMI certifications, they have the validity criteria, very stringent validity criteria, because this is one organization globally which is continuously updating, based on the lessons learned throughout the processes, throughout the projects across the world. And when you refresh your certification or recertify yourself, you're actually going through all of these trainings once again, going through those exams once again. And this whole process of validating your eligibility is done by PMI. Okay. So as a prerequisite, you require 35 contact hours of PM education. You require at least 35 contact hours of PM education as a prerequisite. So when you have this education, then you will have this trainings and all. You will find the information on these trainings from the PMP site. And then when you have the required experience, you have given the trainings, you have taken the trainings, then you are eligible to apply for the exam. Where do you apply? You apply with the PMI, that is Project Management Institute. On receiving your application, randomly they will send the 10% of the application for audit. Okay. When the audit happens, what is the part of the audit? They will get back to the companies which you have mentioned in your application as the places you have worked in the project manager capacity. You have acquired the project manager contact hours from those organizations. So they will be contacting your project managers, your HRs of those companies, and verifying that the information that you've mentioned in your application is true. Okay. So once they validate it, they will send you a letter of authorization. That letter of authorization is valid for 1 year. Okay. In that 1 year's time, you can give the certification and get certified. Now, that 1 year is not limited to one attempt. Within that 1 year, you can give 3 attempts. If you fail in the first one, you can give the second one and you can give the third one. So that I have seen people clearing it in first year, because if they are serious, then at least in the third attempt they will clear this certification. If you fail in the third attempt also, then again you have to repeat the process. You have to apply to PMI. PMI will do the audit, do the due diligence, and give you the authorization letter. Then again, within 1 year's time, you can give 3 attempts. In the certification, you have around 200 questions to be cracked in the time frame of 240 minutes, and then the cost is around 405 to 555 US dollars. Okay. So if you are a PMI member, then you have certain benefits to you. I think the fees now is 129 US dollars to become a PMI member, but then you get a lot of discounts on every attempt that you make for all the exams of PMIs. It really helps you, and it is worth being a PMI member. So I would always recommend people who are serious in pursuing the project management education certifications and then work as a project manager professional, get a membership of PMI. And then through this membership, you get access to the various study materials, which otherwise you'll have to buy. But then you get it as a complimentary when you are a PMI member. You get various discounts every time you give the exam for certification, recertification, or whatever. So that is very good from the point of view of cost. And then this certification is valid for 3 years. After 3 years, you have to recertify yourself, or you can keep participating in various activities which give you PDUs. Okay, so these are the top 10 project management certifications you can target in the year 2021, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye bye.